Nintendo stuff. Separated by cosmic cabinets no longer, Brandon, Paul, and Logan are broadcasting Nintendo stuff live from the Break Room Arcade.
Wow.
Big hair mood.
I woke up like this.
I love it.
You know, the only thing better than doing a podcast with you guys is just sitting here quietly next to you guys, just enjoying the energy and the vibes you give off.
I was hoping you were going to say sleep. Sleep is pretty good.
No, actually, I'm actually in a
Sleep is pretty good.
pretty chill mood, because there's a few games coming out that bring out my inner chill.
Yes, we're about a month away from the big
Lego
boy
Jurassic
game.
Park.
Absolutely. Animal Crossing New Horizons about a month out.
Don't make jokes about Lego Jurassic Park.
Is that your favorite game?
It is. It's the best game. It's up there with, Half-Life 2 and
Cory in the House.
Portal 2 and
Did you see the
Super
Cory and the
Mario
Three
Bros.
Houses meme?
Wasn't I the one who said
Oh,
that to you?
that was a good one.
It may have been you, yeah.
No, I sent that one around for sure. I don't know.
I send everything to everyone.
Speaking of Three Houses, you're finally playing it.
I'm finally playing it.
Congratulations. It took how many weeks?
Well, you know what I fear? I fear that it'll go dark for another few weeks because I haven't played in the last few days. And then it'll just be like, okay, Logan, when do you get back to it? Like, oh, I'm bored of it now. Start playing it again. It feels fresh. It feels new. It feels exciting. I don't actually anticipate that's what's going to happen. But yes, I've been playing it. I've been enjoying it. Right now I'm really anxious to be able to recruit, like, you know,
Raphael.
not Raphael. I mean, there's a bunch that I'm like, I don't know exactly. I want some more magic users, but also I realize I need some more tanks. You
want Dedu, and you can't recruit him unless you're from that house. But what house are you playing through? What route
Golden
are you?
Deer, the
Golden
only
Deer?
correct choice.
He already has access to Raphael.
Dimitri is the
Oh.
correct choice.
Dimitri.
Yeah, I do.
I love Dimitri, if you guys are wondering.
Dimitri's
Dimitri.
life is not full of symmetry.
Guys, I'm
Doug
pretty sure
Dimitri.
it's Dimitri.
Timsdale Dimitri.
I like how you had to struggle through that.
But yeah, no, that game is really great, and so is the character of Byleth in both Three Houses.
And in Smash Bros.
And in
Booms.
Smash. I got to play Byleth this afternoon for a few matches. With
I'm glad
Johnny.
this finally happened.
Yeah, I was like, oh, maybe I should.
Before the
play.
Nintendo podcast we do every
Yeah,
week, I
right.
should play as the new character in Smash Bros.
I just
Maybe.
hadn't gotten around to it. You know, I was two into 3 houses.
2 into 3 houses video game. Yeah, Byleth is pretty great. It's funny like how all the Byleth haters just kind of fell silent as soon as Byleth came out. Like I haven't.
And they're just making noise. They didn't have anything from the start.
Well, yeah, but also like I see a lot of people who were detractors on Twitter who are now saying that Byleth's one of their favorite characters to play, which is really funny to me.
Oh gosh, it's almost as though Sakurai made a fun character.
Maybe that's what he knows how to do real well.
Maybe he did that like 4 times back to back to back, and it would have been good odds that he would have managed a 5th time too, but
You'd think.
I got the chance to play against Johnny's Link. And that was really interesting, trying to just like coordinate, like, because you have to get the timing down. You know, a lot of those like moves, like you have to commit to, and like
Yeah.
it's blatantly clear once you actually get the controller in your hand and start feeling Byleth out that, oh man, okay, so I have to really anticipate, you know, these areas. Thankfully, they're bigger attacks, they're stronger attacks.
That's true. Byleth amongst the cast seems to be able to kill pretty early.
oh
Like,
yeah.
even more so than characters like Ganondorf, and it's really surprising to me.
Well, I'm finally getting around to doing something I should have done. God, months ago, years ago.
Over a year now.
I'm finally getting around to playing World of Light, and I set it to stupid easy. I picked Byleth, and it's just not even fair. I can, in most cases, 1-shot or 2-shot most opponents. As soon as it starts, charge the arrow, and the arrow usually takes care of it. If it doesn't, you know, a good down air, a good side B,
Handles
a
the
good
situation.
grapple, like just toss them off the edge, grapple them over the ledge.
I did that to Johnny earlier. He was off the ledge, and I was like coming up under him, and I hit him with that up B and just meteored him.
It's such a good move.
It's so good.
There's a lot of opportunity to like get those charge attacks in too. Like you can grapple to kind of throw them off. Especially the downer. I've had a lot of fun. You okay? You're not gonna die there?
Thought my mic was about to fall. We're good.
I've had a lot of fun with that down air and breaking shields, and then using that to charge the side B.
We should talk about that. Like Byleth has
No chill.
like 3 or 4 different attacks that can break shields. I think every attack that uses the axe can break shields, and the fully charged arrow from Failnaught can also break shields.
It's really, really fun.
What's funny is when you get a shield break with down B, like the most optimal punish in most cases is just to use down B again. Yeah, I find Byleth really cool. I love that. When I first saw like the trailer, I didn't know how much the different weapons were actually going to like change this character up. But I found like, you know, you prioritize your kill moves and your shield breaks with the axe. You prioritize spacing with the spear, or the lance rather. And like your quick jabs and like, you know, combo starters, those are your sword attacks. And then obviously the bow is just for spacing, but it's
Right.
crazy like how much versatility you have with all of the weapons available to you. Like I fought a lot with Santi when Byleth came out, and like one of the things we would often do is like trap each other into the side smash, because you can side smash somebody from like another dimension. It's like it's got so much range. It probably has about the same amount of range as Mega Man's forward smash, which is a projectile. You can
almost say that same thing about just the grapple, because some of the recoveries I've been able to make are like impossible. Like it doesn't even make sense. It feels broken, and I love it to death.
Not only can like you grapple the ledge, but you can grapple walls, and you can grapple the underside of stages. So one time on accident, I grappled the underside of Battlefield, and it was like a really specific spot that I had to do it in. But once I started doing that, like I started purposefully falling off the stage to see if I could do it. Yeah, and it makes up for the fact that Byleth basically has no horizontal recovery. The up B does, it does do the horizontal recovery, and it does grapple the ledge from the sides, but it's not nearly as far, like if you're below.
Mm-hmm.
I think the luckiest you can get it is if your opponent decides to try to punish you.
And you just
grapple off of them to get back higher up.
Also, the up B doesn't put you into free fall, so you can just keep throwing it out. Now, I think you can only grapple 3 times midair before it just stops working. So there's a limit.
I didn't realize that about it.
That makes it that much more fun.
Yeah.
Almost OP. Like, if you're grappling at, like, people, like, I mean...
It only spikes at about 40% and higher, I think. So if they're lower than that, they will just get sent off to the side.
Okay.
Just a little bit away from you. That said, that opens up another possibility. Because if you up B and grapple when they're at 0%, you can grapple right into a neutral air. And that's actually the ladder combo that can kill DKs from 0. And only
Poor
DK. You up B into neutral air, and then you up B again into neutral air, and then DK dies off the top.
That's
real
so funny.
quick.
And awful.
I've not been having my pulse on the Smash community since Byleth dropped, but I mean, are there any complaints about like him being OP or anything like along those lines?
No OP complaints. Mostly the complaints I've been seeing is that Byleth is too slow and lacks a lot of mobility.
For a reason, but
yeah, no, and it should be like that because Byleth's attacks kill really early, and a lot of them are high power, high knockback.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, if I were to give it a personal guess, I'd say Byleth will probably rank high low tier to low mid tier. So don't.
Sorry, it's taking me a couple extra seconds to process that because I'm tired.
So like, if I was to go to like A to F, I'd probably say like D or C.
Okay.
I don't think Byleth is going to be a game breaker, but they said the same thing about Joker, and now Joker's the top of the game.
Yeah, I mean, and again, like with patch and updates, all this other stuff, it's gonna change. But I mean, like as of now, like I could see how, like generally just falling mid tier would make sense for somebody like Byleth, because I was having some struggle. I mean, I'm not a great Smash player. Let's get that out of the way. But like, I don't know, like sometimes like getting a grip on it and trying to make the right timing, and like it is about timing, because like you can't waste it. There's not like a bunch of quick attacks,
Byleth will play really well into the hands of people who are great at reading their opponent.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not going to be about characters like Joker who are all about like technical skill and speed.
Mm-hmm.
Because with Byleth, like if you can read what's going to happen to you, typically you'll be able to counteract with one of your moves. That said, like the window is so short on most of those attacks, and like the windup is so long that you're really risking a lot of damage. Once you're in, there's good combo potential. You can, in some cases, you can kill like as soon as you get an opening, which is great. But I've seen in competitive Smash that typically the faster characters with more combos tend to do better, because slower characters just can't land any attacks.
Right.
But that's changed a little bit with Smash Ultimate. You see Ganondorf players, you see King K. Rool, you see a lot of Ike, which thank God.
You bandwagoner.
Oh yeah, me, the Ike bandwagoner. Luckily, all that hype died down, so it's just back to me again. But yeah, I think Byleth's a great addition to the game, and I don't know. I feel like Byleth is the most Smash character we've gotten out of the 5. Like everyone has like a really cool, like unique mechanic, where Byleth's mechanic just plays directly into how Smash already works.
Right.
Where the attacks are just mapped to those specific buttons. but they offer different types of range and attack power. That
Just like the different classes in Fire Emblem, so it's again one of those situations where Sakurai made a character that
represents the series.
Yeah.
And is also different from the other Fire Emblem characters.
This is the 4th or 5th unique moveset in the Fire Emblem series. There's only really just Marth and Lucina, and Roy used to be a clone, but that's not necessarily true anymore, and now Roy and Chrom. But you put those two together, and then you still have Corrin, Robin, Ike, and Byleth.
Yep.
That's a lot of variety. So
I think the last 3 have gotten like closer to representing Fire Emblem, I'd say better.
Yeah.
Byleth, I think, is probably like my number 1, like most Fire Emblem-esque character.
Yeah, Byleth is the Fire Emblem character, if you ask me. And that's supposed to be Marth, but, Marth only had so much material to go off of, and the West wasn't familiar with him back then.
Yeah, and I think, at that time, Marth was just, the iconic character, and now we're getting to a point where, obviously there's a lot of notoriety surrounding the series nowadays, especially with Three Houses, with all the memes.
What's
all
the highest selling game in the series, and I think the highest rated too.
I'm not sure about highest rated, but even if it's not the highest rated, they're pretty close.
Yeah.
But yeah, they just kind of knocked it out of the park. They keep pushing the series into new new places. They're stretching new muscles, all this other stuff. And this avatar character, that represents this game, that's what we get. And so I feel like there was the old, right? And that was the old guard, right? It was Marth, it was Roy, but you're getting some new reps, and they deserve, to be in the spotlight with some of these other characters.
I can't remember who made this point, but I think it's a good one. A lot of people are complaining about just the sheer number of Fire Emblem characters that are in the game. They're making the jokes, making the memes. Oh, it's Fire Emblem Ultimate, not Smash Brothers Ultimate. But you look at franchises like Metroid and The Legend of Zelda, who only have a few reps, but with all of their games, it usually is the primary cast that we already have available in Smash Brothers. When you look at Fire Emblem, there isn't a recurring cast. Every game has its own protagonist. So that just lends itself to more characters.
Yeah, I mean, we do have 3 different types of Links, but would you want another Link?
Yeah,
would you want another Zelda?
If they're gonna add another character, it would end up being a side character from a one-off game, right? And that's not the same with Fire Emblem, because now we're getting protagonists from several generations of Fire Emblem. I think you can build a better case for that. Not to say that I don't want to play as Prince Sidon in Smash Brothers, but just, a little mental gymnastics justification. But that said, Byleth is out. Byleth has come and gone. We're entering February, which has DLC for Fire Emblem Three Houses coming out on the 13th, which is the new side story, which I still don't know if it's a full route or not, but it is a 4th house. So I'm looking forward to that. I am going to buy it because I really like that game.
I'll probably wait on it. Unless I finish the game here.
Beat the game, yes.
I was halfway through my first playthrough, and I just bought it. I love that game. I knew I was going to get around to playing it eventually. I wasn't quite sure when. I still don't know when, but eventually I want to do all the other routes. I want to do the DLC. I just want to do everything that's available in that game. I love it.
Yeah, it really is top of its class. So that's something to look forward to here in this February. I don't think there's anything else really in the Nintendo sphere that comes out necessarily in this month. But that's why... Yeah, right?
Trying to think.
Everything I can think of is a mobile game event, like the Dragalia Lost Monster Hunter event, which is currently taking place. By the way, I reinstalled the game just to look at all that stuff, and I ended up pulling every single Monster Hunter related thing available.
Lucky. I know my fiance is... She was complaining just this morning about not pulling a hunter.
Oh.
I got Rathalos, which is important, but...
So Fatalis is a level 5 legendary pull, and I got him twice in the first pull. But I have heard that the pull rates for rare things have been increased in Dragalia Lost to make it easier.
That's good.
Yeah. Coming back to Dragalia Lost so much longer later, like, still think it's the best Nintendo mobile game. It's really good.
I would actually love to see a lot more of that.
Yeah.
They did something very special there.
It's a good game. It's honestly surprising, like, how solid it is.
Of all the ones that they made, I think it's the one I actually, like, played the most, and it's the one that I could actually see myself sitting there and just playing. Not on the toilet, not on a car drive, just, like, in my living room, vegging out, playing Dragalia Lost.
It kind of sounds like they gotcha.
Well, I mean,
we need to ask you to leave. You're banned from this podcast.
Since the game came out, I haven't spent any money on it.
I mean, that's good. I mean, but it also is like their top earning like mobile game too.
Yeah, but
besides,
I think part of that just
maybe Mario Kart.
I think part of that is just the fact that it is a quality game too.
Oh yeah.
The prices from what I've seen are fair. They're not anything like the Fire Emblem Heroes subscription model that was just revealed yesterday. $9.95 a month. It costs 5 times the amount of Nintendo Switch Online for 1 year.
No.
But that's a conversation for another day, but boy is it bad.
I thought like was it Pokemon Home pricing? I looked at that.
We're going to get to that, yeah.
I misread the numbers initially, so I thought it was like the month, like that for the year subscription. I thought that was the monthly price.
Oh.
And I was
really
bad.
I was really upset. What are they doing?
I mean, it's still a popular release, so like they're just going to keep driving up prices if people are going to pay for them. That's the sad truth of that whole thing.
It seems like so far removed from how they've been approaching their mobile games so far, because all of them have seemed like fairly reasonable. You didn't have to pump a lot of money into them to keep playing.
Fire Emblem was like the crowning achievement of that too, because like it just gave you summoning orbs basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't spend any money in that game.
And it seems like that part of it really hasn't changed, but they are making more ways to monetize it.
I guess that's fair, but
it's not necessarily a bad thing, but also who would want to pay for that?
I guess if you're really crazy about it and you keep dumping $10 a month into it, then maybe, but...
And not to out like the J-Wits, popular YouTuber, one I look up to very much. Like he stopped playing the game, I think, because in 1 year he had spent like $2,000 in that game.
Wow.
Imagine having $2,000 to just spend in a game.
Well, that's one thing, but also like he looked at that and he's like, I need to stop playing.
Yeah.
Because this is clearly unhealthy. Mm-hmm. But I imagine they're probably just targeting whales. Like these are the people who are going to spend the money anyway, so they might as well just make it.
Right. Well, if you're spending
that's a conversation.
$2,000 a year in the Fire Emblem, like, then I can understand. Hey, how about you just pay $10 a month, and we'll call it even.
Yeah, my thing it always gets back to is like there's diminishing returns with like how fun it can get. Like if I'm enjoying it without having to spend any money, so be it. Mm-hmm. But like the moment I feel like I like am really compelled to spend money in that kind of stuff, like that's when I start weighing like how much, if at all, because like for a lot of these things, and I think Nintendo kind of talked about this before they started releasing these mobile games, is like draw it back to the Switch. Like at a certain point, I'm not playing Mario Kart Tour, or if I am, like I don't feel compelled to like spend any money on it, because at that point I could just be playing Mario Kart Deluxe, So I mean the same thing with a lot of these things, though Dragalia Lost obviously is a little bit different in terms of it's not a pre-existing.
It is a new
franchise.
IP, and I think that plays to its benefit in its game. Don says, these passes are made to create a fear of missing out. Unique cookies in Animal Crossing, special rewards in Mario Kart Tour, and exclusive characters in Fire Emblem Heroes. Whales hate missing out on stuff, and I think he hit the nail right on the head.
Yeah.
That's about right, yeah.
Nintendo's mobile strategy aside, now that Byleth is out, and we have a generally blank February, it's direct time.
I think you're right, and I obviously there's no basis for this other than like get a sense for the timing. Like it's getting close. Like there's gonna be a direct before this game is out.
Yeah,
we after March and the whale that is. What is there?
Yeah, it's basically a blank slate. We know about
expansion pass. That's it.
and Xenoblade Chronicles, which doesn't have a date yet, but it is coming out this year. Hopefully.
Probably. I'm betting on May.
Yeah, since so many retailers have come out and said May.
It makes the most sense too. It's something that like we don't know about that could be placed fairly early on to kind of bridge the gap between the later year games.
Mm-hmm. And that's kind of been Nintendo's strategy for the last couple of years. It's like we only hear about the first 6 months, at the end of the previous year and like in the first couple months of that year, and then we don't hear anything about part 2 of the year until E3, and then just lay it all out for you. And I think that's a trend that they're just going to keep doing because it seems to work well for them.
Yeah. I mean, it honestly sounds like with how much like we haven't last year was all right with games. Like there was a few good ones. But it wasn't packed like some years, and I feel like
it wasn't packed, but I think they were also like betting on Smash DLC a lot.
No, and certainly that helped, and I think Nintendo does a really good job pacing these things. You know, so I feel like it's kind of hard to say that they would wait much longer, especially with like all of this promotional material just being dropped. For Animal Crossing, like they are in full swing in terms of like getting the word out about Animal Crossing.
Yeah, we're getting to that point where the dump's gonna happen.
So it's I mean, outside of here's the game's coming out, here's some more information. Xenoblade Chronicles remake is coming out, May. What else are we gonna hear about?
If it's anything like it was last year, we might get a new first-party reveal at the beginning of the Direct and an additional one at the end. Because I think last February is when we got Super Mario Maker 2 at the beginning and The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening at the end. And that fell on February 13th. So we are, a little under 2 weeks away from that. So it's either going to be this next week, the week after that. I'd be really surprised if we wait until March before, like, any kind of presentation.
That would like leave I'd leave a lot of space between now and when those last couple games of March actually drop, because I think they're like, aren't they all later March?
I think Pokemon Mystery Dungeon is in the first half of the month, but that's not necessarily like something that they're going to be pushing super hard.
Right.
And that's not to say that it's not a game I'm looking forward to, because it is, but that's not going to be a top biller. But
it's probably going to just sell well because it's Pokemon.
Yeah. And they're going to want to leave the window open for Animal Crossing because it's already going to be competing with Doom Eternal.
No, I mean, yes.
Well, that's what the quote's for.
Yeah.
Because I don't think
it'll be competing for me, but I think I'm going to have enough money to just drop money on both at the same time.
Don wants to correct us about 2019. He says between June and December of 2019, Nintendo published 15 games.
That doesn't mean all of them are, through the roof incredible. Obviously, like, we had some bigger ones. Like, obviously, like, we had Pokemon.
I mean,
like,
I will
for
say
me,
that,
like, that's only
year,
so exciting. And obviously, for a lot of other people, it's really exciting. But, like,
last year did feel a lot more populated than the year before when they were just Smash hype the whole year.
Yeah, 2018 did feel kind of like a dead spot.
2019 felt a lot closer to that first year of Switch where there was just like game.
Yeah, we had like Mario Maker 2 in June, and then like every month until the end of the year, something came out.
You can't expect every year to be Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey.
No, certainly not.
For what it was, like last year was pretty fun.
Yeah, I mean, July is when Fire Emblem Three Houses came out, and we're still talking about that game.
It's still not done.
Yeah.
Well, partially, I just haven't finished it, and then we just got Byleth, right? I mean,
the conversation about that game is going to go for a long time.
We're just going to,
Well, I still see, like, every day, like, character art from fan art, just, tweets about ships from that game, all kinds of stuff.
That's the one complaint that I have about that game is I really miss, like, that very, like, present like shipping system that they had in the previous game. I understand like they didn't have the ability to like do the children right, but it would have been nice if you had like some unique bonuses for having like two characters max out the support and like get married.
Yeah, it feels like once you hit S rank, like nothing happens until the game ends.
Well, around like Byleth, like there is no really S rank support between individual units, and that was something that I didn't. Like.
Oh,
I wish
yeah,
I could
you're
have
right.
gotten like
Because it only goes up to
friendships maxed out at S rank.
yeah, it goes up to A, and then spoiler alert, the game will do the pairings for you in the epilogue.
I hated waiting until the epilogue for that.
Yeah, because it's all in text. That said, so we're of the opinion that a direct is on the way. That doesn't stop Nintendo from giving us some Animal Crossing stuff. So 250 plus renders of Animal Crossing villagers were put on one of the press sites, and they look really good. Not much else to say other than like visually they're very appealing. A lot of villagers did get like direct upgrades too.
Hold up, though. Does Logan have a lot to say about it?
We watched the video together.
Yeah,
over
we
kind
of just
I haven't
sat
seen it,
and
so I
watched the
don't
Game
know.
Explain video, and they're just really pretty. They're they look like Animal Crossing villagers, a
would
little
hope
more
so.
detailed. Some of the new ones are really funky and cool. A lot of the old ones, yeah, they're just little.
Did you find a new
little
best
more
friend yet?
detail. I think I did, except I'm not sure if it's a new best friend or a best friend that I just didn't realize existed in the universe prior.
Yeah, there's
to
just
this
a
game.
lot of villagers in Animal Crossing.
If you saw our thumbnail for this stream,
Also,
/
shout outs to
video,
Nintendo for making that video.
I put some of the new artwork for the villager and then this other villager, which I can't remember the name, but he is a robot bird.
I
Oh,
looked
yeah,
at
yeah, yeah.
the thumbnail before getting on this podcast.
Yeah. So he was real cool, so that's why I put him on the thumb. And this bird will be going into my town.
Robobird's
Hands
my
down.
best friend, Dibs.
In addition to that, we just had an
Oh,
advert that was displayed in Japan, I think earlier today, which has a new image which revealed a staircase leading from a lower part of the village to a higher part, which is not something we've had in Animal Crossing before, as well as brick paths.
Ooh.
So not only can you pave your path, but you can use a material on top of it. And those are both new things to Animal Crossing. I'm really excited about stairs because I hated going all the way around my village just to get up to the second level sometimes.
Yeah, no, they're obviously just giving people more power to customize
Oh,
how
in
they
Taiwan.
want to move around their town, what they want it to look like, and they've kind of just gone like full, like, here's a blank slate, go nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm really excited about the staircase because now I can like put my house on the edge of like a cliffside and not feel weird about it because I'm not gonna be blocking myself off anymore. So that's pretty exciting. And as we talked about last week, like the little things are what's exciting in Animal Crossing. So
Sprocket.
I can't wait to make the
That's his
community flag for my village.
do you already have an idea for that?
Oh no, I'm just the straight community flag.
Oh, very nice. Don, you might be able to give us some more insight on this. Game Explain uploaded a video. It was Steve Bowling who mentioned a picture of Hideki Kamiya. He was sitting next to a monitor that was at 1:01 p.m. and on his left was a Nintendo Switch. And they're reporting that Wonderful 101 is being ported to Switch and PS4, and it will be kickstarted.
That is an interesting approach.
Yes, not one I expected either.
Didn't they have like even a specific date when the Kickstarter was going to go live? And I think the other thing is that there's like now a Platinum Games like Kickstarter like profile too.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Platinum Games is officially on Kickstarter.
So there's precedent for this.
Yeah, I think it sounds legit to me. I feel like this is a game that needs another chance, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
You played that, right, Brendan?
I did play a little bit of it. It's weird. It plays almost like a fighting game when you really break it down.
Mhm.
There's a lot of technical skill involved, which you wouldn't think so by looking at it. I would like another chance to play it. Playing it on the Wii U, I will admit, was a little cumbersome. faster load times, not holding a giant gamepad
Mhm.
might make the experience a little bit better. Because all the hero designs are fun and the names are funny. There's a good world there, and I'd like to see them go back to it.
I mean, the Switch is the Wii U redemption platform.
I mean, yeah. And I mean, even more so than that, like, have you seen, like, I mean, we'll talk about it a little bit later, but like some of these sales numbers.
Yeah,
You know,
there's a lot to talk about in that department.
Wii U did sad, and the Wonderful 101 didn't get the light of day. So
Yeah, no, it was a rough situation over on Wii U. Don says that Platinum Games purchased the IP back, so some of the costs are probably going to cover that. The Wonderful 101 IP. I
Makes
mean.
sense.
So, who knows when we'll hear more about that? I think it'd be weird, like, if they announced a Kickstarter and a Nintendo Direct, so I think this is something Platinum Games will just announce on their own terms.
Mhm.
yeah, especially now that Nintendo doesn't even have a stock in the IP.
Yeah, and, it's launching on PS4 as well, so I think there's less of a reason to have it strictly a Nintendo Direct.
Mhm.
And I think that also drops the chances of good old Wonder Red getting into Smash Brothers. I know he was a strangely requested character in Smash 4
For one game.
with 101 characters. Nintendo says that over 15 million paid Switch Online accounts have been registered.
That's more than I would have thought.
Yeah, so that makes up... Well, I guess this will tie right into another thing, is that they have achieved 52.48 million console sales. So that's a fairly large percentage of users.
That's
Especially,
like, what,
like,
20%?
From the bottom.
Roughly, yeah.
You know, like if you
Mhm.
think about like PlayStation and Xbox, like these services, these paid online services, go back 2 generations.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the fact that Nintendo's getting into it now, that they have such a large percentage of the base, I think it's easy to say that, because it's so inexpensive, that, a lot of people, weren't as like, oh no, I got to pay for online now. Well, do you want online? $20 a year is not that much. If you're a family, you, your wife, a few kids, you guys all got Switches, you all want to play online,
Mm-hmm.
$35 for the family for a whole year.
And included that too is the NES and SNES library games attached to that, so it gives you
good
something
value.
to play.
And then increasingly so,
Yeah.
we just keep getting new games. We're still getting NES games, which, NES is only so exciting. SNES games, though, on the other hand, there's, just a whole host of really great games.
That's when the multiplayer starts to get a bit more exciting.
Oh, yeah.
It's like the online multiplayer is a big selling point for me specifically. So, like, getting some of those SNES games that are, like, simultaneous multiplayer and then flooding, hopefully, eventually this year into N64, like...
You throw some online multiplayer for those games?
Absolutely.
Ooh.
Like, that is I would spend more money to do that.
Could we get original Smash Bros?
Oh, I'm sure that'd be right in the first wave.
Be pretty cool.
They can skip Mario Party 1, though, and just put 2 on there, and that'd be fine.
Yeah, this is true.
So, some disappointing news for some, but we don't know what it means. Though we should start taking Nintendo at face value, I think. Furukawa says they have no plans to launch a new Nintendo Switch model during 2020.
I'm pretty sure they say that pretty close to the reveal of any like new console.
Well, it's
They
different.
always say it and then they go against it.
Last year they said they wouldn't have any new consoles at E3, and then we got the Lite announcement. So I don't know. I feel like this is probably pretty definite. It's not happening this year, but he said 2020, and I think I can't get the link to open because Asana's dumb, but I believe there was something else in there that suggested that there is something that they are still actively working on.
It only makes sense.
Yeah.
After a certain point, especially with, PlayStation 5 already kind of, both the next generation consoles are in the works, so Nintendo's going to need something at some point.
Well, I mean, we already know. Like, PS5 is going to be revealed in what? How soon?
I mean, if it and both the Xbox Series X are going to launch in holiday, it's got to be soon. I mean, Sony's not going to be at E3, but that doesn't mean they won't have their own little deal.
Yeah, and then we've already got the reveal of, the X series, and I'm pretty sure we have like a holiday 2020
We do have a window for that.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if the PS5 kind of targeted the same time period.
Yeah, maybe Nintendo's just feeling that confident about where they're at. Again, like, these are things that they'll probably already have in the works, even if they don't release them. Like, you know, they're trying things and weighing options for what's in the future. Again, I would love to see it as just another entry in the Switch line with a lot more power. Yeah, I'd love to see that, but at the same time, like, they're already selling so many Switches as is.
Over 50 million.
Yeah. And what? That's March 2017 to we're coming up on March 2020. So
Yeah.
within three years.
Which
over
is,
50
it's
mil.
funny that you say that too, because one of the other factoids we have here, this comes from an analyst. Again, I can't get my links to open, so I can't give you more details. But the Switch has matched the Xbox One's total sales in 34 months, and it took the Xbox 74 months to get there.
I mean, that's still impressive, but I'll always make the argument that, especially in like this era, do you really need an Xbox? Not to say that it's not a good console, but
I mean, even
if you
Microsoft is making the argument now.
No, and I mean to their credit too.
Yeah.
And I think they understand that, like, you know, I think they'll still sell obviously Xboxes, and
well,
I
it's
think,
still needed. I'm
yeah,
not saying
no,
that it's
certainly,
not.
it's certainly part of their user base. But like for somebody who doesn't have an Xbox, but I have a PC, they're just starting to like, here's all those games on PC, right?
They're
I'm
kind
still
of unifying that brand.
like, I, you know,
which is the best possible.
I finished Halo Reach
Yeah.
the other day because the the
Master
Chief Collection is
Call
on
them.
PC. Sadly, only Reach so far. But I finished it, and I'm ready for the next game, and, you know, so on and so forth. Like, if I want to play Forza, I can play that on PC. If I want to play what was originally released as an Xbox exclusive, what was the Insomnia games? They just did Spider-Man.
Insomniac?
Insomniac. That's what it is.
Sunset Overdrive?
Yeah, Sunset Overdrive. I don't know why I forgot that. That's been a game I've been wanting to play for quite some time. And, you know, if I want to, I can just pay the $5 a month for Game Pass on PC and just play it there, you know, and more. So, yeah, who needs an Xbox? I mean, again, like, unless you don't game on your PC and you buy an Xbox Series X, so be it. Still a decent console.
I mean, there's a lot of ways to play PC games on your TV too, and it's becoming a lot easier with things like the Steam Link and Remote Play. So I don't do a ton of PC gaming myself, but those are incentives for me because, like, my entertainment center and everything is downstairs, and I'd much rather play down there than play over here in the studio. But, you know, it's giving me the opportunity to play games like Resident Evil 7, which I played comfortably on my TV using my Steam Link, and it was a great experience. 10 out of 10. So yeah, you know, I have an Xbox. Going back to Nintendo a little bit, we've got the top 10 best-selling Switch games as of December 31st, 2019.
This is good. I like
we're going to start from 10 and go up. So, Paul, what's your guess on number 10? What's the 10th best-selling Switch game?
Give me a second. I got a lot of games here to process.
Go for it.
Fire Emblem.
Luigi's Mansion 3 at 5.37 million sales. Logan, have you looked at this at all?
I have.
Okay. I'll
I
keep
don't
asking.
remember all of them, but I do remember a few.
All right, number 9.
See, this is
What is-
one I don't remember.
I'll ask Paul the top 5, but not you.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, top 5 would be a
I
lot
see how it is.
easier. Splatoon.
New Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe at 5.85 million sales.
Oh shoot. Okay, so there's gonna be some distance. So like number 8.
Number 8.
Okay.
Pokemon.
Nintendo Meme Run 2 Mighty Number 9.
Is it Pokemon Let's Go?
It's Super Mario Party at 9.12 million sales.
We're already at
Oh,
9
now
million.
it's Splatoon.
Now it's Splatoon 2 at 9.81 million. What's number 6?
Fire Emblem.
No, Fire Emblem was not. No, Nick, because we've crossed over into the 10 millions. Because I'm pretty sure Splatoon is like right up there. So what was the lowest one to cross? Oh, this one. This is Let's Go.
Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee at 11.76
Yeah.
million. All right, Paul, number 5.
Let me just throw out some guesses, and I'm not sure on the order on these, but I'm gonna guess Breath of the Wild's in there, Odyssey, Sword and Shield, Mario Kart Deluxe. I don't know.
I'm surprised at the one you left out.
Fire Emblem?
No.
Which ones did he say?
He said Mario Kart 8. He
Yeah.
said Mario Odyssey, Breath
Yeah.
of the Wild, and Pokemon Sword and Shield.
My case is all the way over here.
But he left a pretty big game out of there.
Give me a second.
You need a refresher?
Let me see if I even have it. Arms?
No.
Xenoblade Chronicles?
No.
Dragon Ball Xenoverse.
No, this is really funny.
Iron Rabbits?
No.
No.
I don't know.
Super Smash Brothers Ultimate.
See, that's the problem. I don't actually have a physical copy of that.
Oh, okay.
I would have seen that indefinitely.
You had me shocked there.
It's a Monday, okay?
If you had to put one at number 5, what would it be?
Let me think of that over again. I feel like Mario Kart's going to trend higher on that.
Yes.
Same thing with Pokemon. Actually, Pokemon's probably underneath Smash Brothers at this point. Not sure how that would relate with Breath of the Wild.
This is good thinking right here.
Mario Odyssey is probably higher than Breath of the Wild, though.
Man, I like what I'm hearing.
Let's see. So I'm going to go Pokemon, Smash, Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey, Mario Kart.
You are so close.
Isn't
What was
Smash
it?
Bros. number 2?
Smash Brothers Ultimate's number 2.
Okay.
Everything else you said was stacked in the right order.
Yeah, so I think
The last time I had heard Smash Brothers was like 16
Isn't-
million,
It's 17.68 right now.
and I wasn't sure about any of the other ones. I knew last I heard Pokemon was 12.
yeah, the other ones are
Sword and Shield's at 16 million now.
Yeah, they're all in the 16 millions.
Except for Mario Kart 8, which is at 22.96.
Right.
Which makes sense. It was that first
Big release.
Dear Lord, those numbers though. Like, okay, like obviously Mario Kart 8 Deluxe isn't the best selling. It is the second best selling
Mario
Mario
Kart.
Kart game behind Mario Kart Wii. Super Smash Bros. Obviously best selling Super Smash Bros.
Also best fighting game in history.
Mario Odyssey
best-selling.
best selling 3D Mario game.
Yep.
Breath of the Wild best selling Zelda game by a mile and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And then
I believe Sword and Shield is outpacing both X and Y and Sun and Moon.
yeah, it seems like it. I mean, do we know? Because I wouldn't be surprised if it passed 20 million, which would put it up there.
Yeah.
Right. I think
What's the best
obviously.
selling Pokemon game?
Oh, the originals.
Red and Blue.
It's like over 30 million.
Yeah,
So.
but this could beat it out. Like
yeah, no, I was like.
this is 2 months worth of sales for that game.
Yeah, I think it could definitely hit that. And like you just think about like how much larger like just the install base is at this point than some of those other like I think the original Game Boy sold what? Like it was under 100 million, wasn't it?
The original Game Boy?
Yeah, and
It's like in the
obviously then we had
70 to
like
80 million.
and obviously we had like other consoles sold that could sell and play, some of those original games, but like yeah, the Switch is just like
Red
it's
and Blue.
building up this mass that like now all these games are just coming in hot behind it.
It's also great to see like all of Nintendo's first party games performing this well. Specifically, like when you look at games like Super Mario Party, New Super Mario Bros. U, and Luigi's Mansion, the fact that these are in the top 10 games is incredible.
Was this list just Nintendo in general, or is it just Switch?
Top 10 best-selling Nintendo Switch games.
Okay. Because I was going to say, I'm surprised there was like not a single third party made.
It's because like they're just so high. The count totals are like incredible. Like even like Well, Splatoon 9.81 million. I mean, that's only the second game in the series, and it almost hit 10 million.
Don says Game Boy sold 118 million.
Okay, I knew it was pretty high. I know the DS is even higher though.
The DS line.
So yeah, this top 10 I think is incredible. One notable game that's not on here is Super Mario Maker 2.
Fire Emblem.
Well, and Fire Emblem.
It's notable to me.
I think it's got more legs than some of those games on the bottom.
Yeah.
And especially if they continue actually updating it, you know, and adding new content.
Mario U also has like 5 months on it.
Oh, yeah.
On the market, so who knows? But I still think this is a great top 10. It's clearly great sign for Nintendo. They're in great shape.
The Switch is an amazing console.
Yeah.
That just proves it.
It's good stuff.
It's doing real nice.
I like my Switch, even though the right speaker is kind of busted in my Switch now.
Your right speaker's busted? What did you do?
Yeah, like it's still there's a sound comes out of it, but like it's not as loud as the left side. I don't know what I did.
You didn't drop it, did you?
I mean, who knows? If I dropped it, it was in its case when I dropped it.
So moving on to Pokemon Home, which finally got detailed as well as its pricing. There's a free version as well as a paid version. The free version actually has quite a bit of functionality. I think the only downside to it is you can only put 30 Pokemon in the app if you're going free. But you
pretty limited.
But you can still trade. I think you just can't create trade rooms. You can only join them as far as like the global trading station. But I believe you can still trade with your friends.
Mm-hmm.
In the the full premium version, up to 6,000 Pokemon can be held.
I mean, that's with the price point being what it is. When I actually read it correctly, it's not that bad of a price point for the amount of storage you would get,
and just generally the features that you're getting out of it too. It has a built-in national Pokedex, which is cool that you can fill out by transferring Pokemon into it. So now players have another Pokedex to fill.
Well, I mean, everybody out there just loves filling that national Pokedex. Everybody's crazy for it.
So, from what it sounds like, is the true collectors sounds like they'll get their money's worth. I don't know, but for a full year, if you're a really dedicated Pokemon collector, and you want storage for that kind of stuff, it's great. If you're more casual and you just want to, save them up on your own cartridge, your own system, and then trade them in smaller amounts in
using
rooms.
the free version.
At least you can trade online in that way.
Yeah, so you can bring from a game and put them back in. I think it will have connectivity with Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, Sword and Shield, and Pokemon Go at a later date.
Mm-hmm.
So not right now. But I think they also said Pokemon that are traded from Pokemon Go can't go back to Pokemon Go, which makes sense.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So for 12 months, it costs $15.99, which is pretty steep when you compare it to Pokemon Bank, which I think was $4.99 a year.
I mean, it's approaching that Switch Online price.
Yeah.
That being said, again, if you want that storage, it's not that big of a hurdle,
Right.
And I think that's the real difference is you're gonna get people who really want that extra storage,
and this is clearly targeting the big Pokemon players.
Absolutely.
Also, if you enroll in the premium plan, you can transfer your Pokemon from Pokemon Bank to Pokemon Home. So they've made it easy to kind of migrate everything over.
Mm-hmm.
I guess at the very least, I mean, do they have a month-to-month plan?
There is a 1 month subscription, which is $2.99, and a 3 month, which is $4.99. So that's not so bad.
Yeah, especially if maybe your big thing is that you have a few Pokemon from the last generation, and you just want to bring them over, whatever is in your bank. But I imagine that people who paid for bank is going to be the same people who are gonna pay the $16 for the year subscription.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. At least they're letting people transfer from bank. Think about the amount of Pokemon that are just sitting in there.
It'd be a real headache if you couldn't.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess is like the eventual goal just to make, to fill out the rest of the deck?
Like over time?
Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine so. I mean, we're getting 200 plus returning Pokemon in the DLC expansions later this year.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't think it will necessarily happen in just Sword and Shield.
No, yeah, certainly.
I think whatever comes next will kind of close the gap on that, as well as whatever new Pokemon that comes with. I don't know if it'll be the next generation necessarily, or maybe they'll do that with the Sinnoh remakes.
Mm-hmm.
But we won't know until 2021 at least, because as far as we know, there's no new Pokemon game this year because of the DLC, which I think is great.
I think that's great
Take
as
a
well.
breather.
Whenever I get around to actually purchasing and playing through Sword or Shield, probably Sword.
Oh yeah, you haven't played them yet, have
Nope.
you? Man,
What have you been doing?
Being
like my
poor.
2 favorite games of
What do you do when you're poor?
go to McDonald's.
Yeah.
So we got one last kind of major story that I want to talk about, and this news just broke today.
Major story.
Thank you. So I originally sourced this from IGN, but I'm reading this off of My Nintendo News. Retro Studios has hired the former art director at DICE, who's worked on Battlefield 5 and Mirror's Edge Catalyst, as the art director at Retro Studios. We just don't know what project he's attached to, though there's a good chance that it's Metroid Prime.
Outside of Metroid Prime, do we know any of their projects?
No, I mean, we don't know it necessarily, like, if they're working on more than one, I think is what I'm getting at.
Mm-hmm.
But it's probably just a big chance that he is working on Metroid Prime 4.
I would hope so. I mean, we've been waiting, and then we're like, hey, we're just going to start over. We're going to just trash it, just hit the delete button, and just go from bottom to top, okay? And so hopefully, this is, okay, we're letting Retro Studios develop. Hey, you guys seem like you're a little understaffed because you guys haven't been working on things in a while. You might want to hire people, and it seems like they've been doing a lot of that recently.
Yeah.
So I don't want to speculate how far along into development they are in that game, but I would say we are in it for the long haul.
Yeah, for sure. Also, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Is it Joni Lungstedt?
Sure.
Okay, well, hopefully.
Just say it with confidence, and someone will yell at us about it later.
Probably.
With a deep.
So I think he's a great
voice.
fit, too, because, like, clearly he's worked on more realistic-focused games like the Battlefield franchise, but also with the stylistic franchise like Mirror's Edge, and that's exactly the kind of blend you want in Metroid Prime. So I think Metroid Prime's going to come out looking pretty dang swell once we finally get to see it.
I'm nervous for
One
it.
day.
Are you?
I am. I'm nervous for any game that takes this long. I mean, I think
We know why it's taking long, though, because they had to, start from scratch necessarily.
no, obviously, and then also gives Retro Studios something to do.
I want Retro Studios to knock us out of the park.
I do. I know. I
it's
want
been
it
a
to be
minute.
good.
Yeah.
I want to believe.
Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze came out in, 2014?
Yeah.
Well, after the rumor of them shutting down,
Yeah.
please guys, knock this out of the park. We want you to stay in business.
Yeah, I think
Please.
that's my big thing is it sounds like they had some issues here in the last few years and they were able to get a really great game out of it, But again, I don't want this to feel shoehorned, take their time with it, but also don't let it stew and don't let it die,
I don't think this is going to be like a Duke Nukem Forever. A game that takes eons to come out and ends up being
well,
kind
and then
of
that's why
subpar.
it was encouraging to me to see that they were just we're just gonna scrap it and start over, start over fresh, without all the maybe crap that was getting in the way before.
I think Nintendo too, for all the crap they get, they are smart. They know what they're doing. And we've had the backlash from Metroid Prime Federation Force, and even a little bit of backlash with Samus Returns, just because it was a 3DS game. So Nintendo clearly understands where the Metroid fans are right now, and maybe that was partly the motivation for saying, all right, we need to start over because this is not going to work out.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to let Metroid fans down, a second time after so long.
This is definitely like a key place to get it right.
Yeah. Now, that's not to say that Metroid Samus Returns wasn't great, because it was, but also it was a 3DS game.
It was a 3DS game. I feel like that's like the anthem of last year is like, why are these things still here? Like, I mean, at this point, my 3DS is, mainly just dead. Every once in a while, I'll go back and play some smaller games that I haven't finished, but like, it's mostly just playing on my Switch. I want to play everything on my Switch.
Dark's Flame, yes, I do believe they did do the port themselves from Tropical Freeze from Wii U to Switch. Yes.
So they've touched a Switch before.
Yes, they've done a little bit of switching. So that's like the last major story for this week, and I think we're all just kind of waiting with bated breath for the next Nintendo Direct and the dump of information on Animal Crossing.
Yeah, I want it real bad. I was looking up like I don't look up merch for a lot of things. I try to not buy a lot of things, but I was thinking about getting some Animal Crossing plushes because I saw a listing for some new ones. So
Target also has a pre-order bonus, which is a nice like New Horizons themed journal.
Yeah.
But I'm going to buy this game digitally because I want it to always be available to me.
I mean, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, you're never going to want to take it out, and then it's always going to be on that Switch. Unless, of course, you transfer Switches, but...
Which will probably happen in my lifetime if a Pro ever comes out.
I'm actually running out of space on my SD cards. This is one I opted to get physically.
Oh, okay. See, I got Smash physically, and it just stays in my Switch all the time now.
That's why I bought Smash
Digitally. Yeah.
How big is your SD card?
Like 200 gigs.
Okay, I have
So
a
I still have room to
256
grow,
gig.
but-
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to buy a new one. I've had to delete some software lately, and I hate doing that.
I need to play through the Storm games. That's the biggest. I think it's like 17 gigs.
It's such a big game, yeah.
I need to just play that, delete that, and then I'm good for a while.
So as far as playing games, like for me, it's really just been Smash Brothers and also playing video games on other platforms. We're in that lull in the beginning of the year.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I decided to go back and start playing World of Light again. I don't know why, but I've been.
You're plowing through it.
Yeah, I'm trying to get that done. Hopefully, I can get that done tonight, and then play a little bit of Kakarot before weekend's over. But
Yeah.
Kakarot.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a rumor from a data mine earlier today that Beerus and Whis are going to be in the game, which
juicy.
Ooh.
might spill it into Super a little bit. But that's not on a Nintendo platform, so sorry, guys.
We apologize.
So here's kind of the
would like to apologize.
here's kind of the layout of things, I guess, for the rest of the week, depending on how things go. So, like, if a Direct happens, we'll do everything in our power to do a live reaction. It'll probably not be, I don't know, like, lately we've not been broadcasting the reaction. We've just been recording them and uploading them afterwards. I think that works better for us.
Yeah, you can cut out all the extra stuff, too.
But depending on, like, the content that's in it, we might do, like, an emergency discussion and then, like, just have the regular podcast at the end of the week. Just depends on how it all goes. We'll let you guys know as it happens. But I firmly believe that we'll have a Direct announcement on Tuesday.
I hope you're right. If not Monday, try to change it up.
Yeah,
Monday
maybe.
to Wednesday as opposed to Tuesday to Thursday.
Work is light for us on Thursday, so, like, if it happens on Thursday, that's preferable.
Either way, we'll be getting that information.
Yeah. So make sure to tune in to the Break Room Arcade. You can follow me at Babababs. You can follow Logan at Loggydubs. You can follow Paul at Gunnysaurus. You can follow us as a collective at Break Room Arcade. These are the 4 sources where you're going to find all your information about what we're up to. But if you want more into our personal lives and what we like to do, join our Discord server.
Yeah, join our Discord server.
Yeah, join our Discord server.
You
Yeah,
lonely,
Paul.
quiet subscriber who has watched our production many times and just hasn't said anything. I believe in you. Join
We
our
love
Discord.
you. You don't even have to say anything if you don't want, but
I
we
don't
encourage
even know
you to.
your name, but I already feel a connection.
At the very least, go to my Twitter and look at all of my Lego creations that I'm gonna keep building.
It's good stuff.
I like Legos.
So
Want to get some sets.
make sure you like the video and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Man, this has been one heck of an episode, let me tell you. And follow us on podcast sources because you can listen to us pretty much anywhere you want. We're on Stitcher. We're on Spotify.
Yes, we're
Google
on
Play, Apple Podcast. We're on Yes.
Yeah.
It's a huge favor to us if you leave us a rating on Apple Podcasts because it bumps us up in the old search bar, and we would really appreciate that. We are at 5 stars last time I checked, so
We're that good.
so thanks, guys. But I think that's about it for now. So
all
we
Paul.
will talk back at you next week on Nintendo stuff. So until then, don't break your backs.
Break in the games.
Get 8 hours of sleep.
It's really important. See you next time.